Don't you just love the sun? I love these wonderful pictures that they can take in the various frequencies or ranges, like in the infrared, or they get magnetic ones, or they get ultraviolet, and so on. I'm not sure which one this is, but clearly it shows the magnetic lines there. Okay, this journal is from March 8th, the first one of that day, and it was a new Tracina. The Mayan day was 2 Road. There is nothing good or bad. Thinking makes it so. Do you realize this? Now, be in heart, of course. To make sense out of my work, that's required because it comes from there, from my own kingdom of heart. And if you are in yours, then you get the full blessing or benefit. Good and bad don't really exist. They are made up. How does that feel when you take it in? What comes up for you? If it's thought, then you can safely ignore that. I'm helping you transcend mind. It's time to be able to step back even from your own thoughts, to be able to recognize them when they arise. Are you up for that? Good. Let's go. Now that you've let go of mind to step into heart, into your own inner kingdom, let go of time. Stay strictly in now. If you want to stay in here in heart, then you must know that time plays no part here. It too doesn't exist, or rather, our views about time are all wrong. 100%. Stay in heart. Mind will often want very much to chip in, to offer its 2 cents. Reject that. You're rich enough. Many people say they want to wake up, but then when anything that seems difficult or challenging is put before them, they're very quick to reject it. Do you notice any of that in yourself? Be looking. Let's all get focused on our inward being. Leave the outside world alone when you come on a journal trip with me. It can take care of itself for the short while we visit together. So screen it out. Time is very much a part of that outside world. Since 100% of our ideas and concepts around time are not correct, let's set them all aside, at least for the moment. Take them up later if you like. Some of them are rather practical if you want to get along in the world. That doesn't make them true, just useful. There's a big difference. A key element, yes. A key element of being in higher consciousness, and many of us visit higher states, some frequently, is the ability to contain both poles, to contain the whole coin. A clear indicator of being in 3D, which is lower consciousness, is being one-sided, being partisan about this or that. There are many reasons for this or ways to explain it to mind, but I will indulge none of them. Why should I? If I want you in heart, then I won't work against myself that way. Taking sides in anything is participating in duality, in the lie or illusion of separation. Same thing. Let's be straight about something else before we continue our trip. There are things with temporal reality and things that are ultimately real. It's the second kind that heart deals with. Yet that doesn't make the first kind negative or bad, just different. Physical life is fleeting. So are things with temporal or transitory reality. That's all. So in the 3D world, everything seems to be separate, right? You don't seem to share the same body as your mate. If you did, that would make mating a real trick, wouldn't it? Could be interesting. Anyway, the trick here is to rise in consciousness up above what seems to be real and enter into awareness of the eternal, the reality behind the scenes. One must stay in heart to do this because heart is the one place or the best place in our 3D body, mind, or avatar in the game to be multi-dimensional. There are no limits in your heart kingdom, including both dimensions and time. It's the one place where true freedom abides. But you must abide there too to partake of it. And setting thought and mind aside, well, that's the price. One of them. It's the main one where people tend to get stuck. How can you know you're in higher consciousness, that you're functioning from your higher dimensional self? Let's look at one thing, separation, to illustrate. When we're in 3D or regular consciousness, we tend to take sides on things. We have opinions. We are partisan on certain matters that are key to us. We tend to see things as right and wrong, good and bad, from the behavior of our children to our governments and life in general. This is called being normal. When we're wholly or fully in the higher dimensions, we cannot take this view. It's a frame of reference that doesn't make sense to us, separation. But when we're in 3D, yet also functioning from higher dimensions, we can contain both views together, even though they don't seem to make sense together. To the 5D being, for example, separation is just an illusion. That one is thoroughly convinced, that one knows that all is one. There's simply no question about it. Life is seen as whole, as fractal. One change anywhere within it propagates instantly through the whole, the one. Everything is quite thoroughly interconnected. We who are incarnate on earth are in a unique position at the dawn of the oncoming big shift. It is now easier than in the last several thousand years to function multidimensionally, to contain both poles, to see that though there are two sides, the coin is still one. Such multis, we could call them, are beautifully suited to be negotiators or peacemakers. Their vision is sufficiently all-encompassing to take in both or all sides of an issue. I hope you are recognizing in these words your own times of being multidimensional. We are all that. There is no question. What's in question is being able to access or access at will what has seemed non-existent or inaccessible for such a long stretch of history. Only the few, the savior, the sages, were able to do this, and we know how well they were received. Mankind was largely closed to the multidimensional viewpoint on just about anything. So we're stepping up into higher consciousness now. Most people want to know how to do this, how to accelerate their movement into it. Our hearts are eager, so eager for the change that they somehow know is coming. There may be much confusion circulating, even in the alternative media, but within each heart is the tuning fork of real truth. Truth has a particular resonance, and we're all well equipped to identify it. Stay in heart. Be self-aware. Notice the common tendency to slip back into mind and thought. When you catch yourself thinking, turn away from it and go back into heart. I know it will feel strange for a while. That's okay. Limit it to meditation or journal trip times if you like, while you adapt to the strangeness. No need to rush. And remember always to enjoy. The things of heart are so unlike the things of mind and thought. Mind things are obvious and easily accessible to anyone with a functioning mind. Not so heart. Heart works on frequency, and lower frequencies are not admitted. They don't get past the door. When we enter heart, we raise our vibration or frequency. Science, as it will be in the new day, will be able to back this up with the new physics. For now, we have our own experience to go by, and there's some support in quantum physics. It will do. Part of the secret of being in heart is just the frequency thing. Really, it's not limited to heart. In the new day, all will be vibrating at higher frequencies all the time. Every part of us will be in this new environment. We won't have to center in heart in order to contact it. It will be everywhere. Now that's still a little way off, but not so far. So, the secrets, the blessings, the still small voice, and all that, these are there and always present. They're just vibrating higher than we normally are. That's the trick. It's raising vibration, not where we center. It's just that it's a powerful short route into those blessings right now in this age and in 3D to center in heart. Many of our current challenges have to do with still being in an environment that also hosts some beings who choose darkness over light. Because they largely run things in today's temporal or 3D world, that tends to pull everyone's frequencies down into the dumps. That is precisely their desire. It suits their purposes, and they've been running a pretty tight ship until lately. Now that the major cycles are changing, it's also a changing of the guard. The old guard is on the way out, though they are in no way ready to admit defeat. Have you noticed? They will likely fight to the last to deceive and hang on to their power, so be aware. Let's not be a Pollyanna over thinking some wonderful galactic federation of light or some such is just now mopping up the mess, and soon they'll be passing out the money worldwide to make everyone rich. Feel the vibration of that. Does it feel right? What I have found in myself when going back over what made me believe in this or that, which turned out to be a lie, is a desire to believe what it was saying. We all want things to turn out nicely. We all want world peace. And we all want to be rich. Things like that. These are what can make you vulnerable and easy to trick. I feel some of you who believed this when you started on this journal trip now trying your best to be open to this possibility. Kudos for that. An open mind is priceless and a real treasure. If everyone had one, we'd be in paradise right now. So let us be aware of the deceivers, please. They're a fact of current life. Let us not underestimate them. Yet, let us look to ourselves and only ourselves for the vulnerabilities to believing in lies. If we don't detect the lies soon enough, then head for the garden of belief to see what's growing there that's in the way, that needs to be pulled. One can get into heart without having surrendered everything in her life, it's true. But to continue to rise in frequency or consciousness, one finds that it's a path of constant surrender, of letting go. That doesn't mean things will be taken away from you. That means letting go. The biggest things to go will be attachment to things and ideas. As we learn to hold all ideas and beliefs much more lightly, we won't be so easily flummoxed. It will be harder, much harder for them to pull the wool over our eyes. We may see the world as brothers and family. Let us be aware that those walking the dark side see no such thing. Now, one wins the battle largely by knowing the enemy. We do not make them our enemy, but it is foolish not to realize that they make us theirs. Your enemy gets to you by getting to those things that you value. Do you see? As you value less and less, and again less of the things of 3D, this makes their job that much tougher. So let us make them a worthy opponent without losing anything of our own values. Remember, she is rich who is content with what she has. Let us learn to spell enough. In Tai Chi, we use the enemy's or the opponent's momentum against him, or rather, we use his momentum in our favor. We go with the flow, sure, and we help the enemy go with his, only to go rather farther than she may have planned. Again, this is accomplished by holding things ever lightly. We're not so focused on us that we're unaware of them. We can find that too in heart, in the non-separation that reigns there. So what in this 3D world do you desire? Look closely at yourself. Your desires are also your vulnerabilities. Be centered in heart while you do this. You'll be calling on mind to provide some of the data, but let the analysis, the real recognition of things, be by heart. Mind is good to collect and arrange things. Just don't use it to make decisions. Let that be heart. It's plain to me, though I don't know that it is to all, that it's also highly beneficial to be identifying with higher self, with our own divine nature, rather than with mind and with flesh. There is a type of vision in heart that so transcends all others, even that of the third eye. Heart vision is truly divine. It's not so easily won, but for him who loves truth, it will come. This vision is one of the gifts given in the divine love affair. Your heart vision will get keener and keener as you back off from identifying with your avatar in the grand drama here. As long as you identify with anything physical, you take on the limits of that thing. To be divine is to be truly unlimited, and you are. Yet, what good does that do the one who just won't let go of the world? Not much. It lies there only as potential for that one, rather than as a useful tool. Distance. We need distance from things. It pays to carve out some time from each day, no matter how little, even 1 minute, to focus on heart and things to expand our interior vision. When something is important to you, then you can find time in each 24-hour cycle to give it attention. Things given attention grow. There is power in your gaze, in your ray of attention. Guide where it flows. Perhaps I cover too much in these journal trips. I do what is comfortable to me, but if you find it too much, then perhaps take it in sections. Push pause or read only so far before taking a break. If you want to jumpstart your learning of anything at all, never read past the point of confusion. When you've read the same sentence 2 or 3 times, it's time to stop. It may be a minute, 5 minutes, an hour, or a day, but a stop will give the mind the blessing it requires to sort through what you've already put in. Remember, my friends, we are all divine. If you are taking these journal trips, I assure you, you're not on the dark side. They couldn't stand it, nor would it make sense to them. Well, acknowledge your divinity. Take that in. Really do some work to accept this. Plant a whole row of divinity flowers in your garden. Then watch what pops up. If you're doing this effectively, you will find worthlessness weeds showing their faces everywhere. All sorts of things don't get along at all well with divinity flowers. They make some things rot on the vine. And that's great, of course, though it can be a bit awkward or uncomfortable for a while. You may even feel depressed and want to sleep a lot. You may be tempted by junk food or who knows what. It's all connected, yet most of us don't notice our minds being too active, involved in too many other things. This is where time in silence itself can be so very useful. In the simple, the quiet heart, soul and mind can go a long way to sort many things out. Leave mind alone, of course. It knows what it's doing without your input. Just be in heart and be empty, or as near as you can get. Exert no effort. This silence, this emptiness is natural to divine beings. Do not work at it. That would be mind. Love yourself, dear ones. Find or make time for you. Keep remembering that you are truly divine. Give yourself the respect. As you accept this more and more, that enables your inner radiance to come out and shine. Your abilities will return if you but make them this place, this quiet space. Your awareness of your divinity is the chalice they will come and fill for you. No effort at all is required to simply be what you are.